This is kind of clean up your mess or you start going south in a hurry. And for the Miami Dolphins, you better clean up your mess tonight. On the road, you're a 12.5-point underdog. And when you think about week 3 of the NFL season, it feels like a turning point for some of these teams. Because if you started out 0-2, and how did you start out 0-2? Then all of a sudden we start to look at a pattern here. And the Dolphins and Mike McDaniel on the hot seat, and I don't think anybody's expecting them to beat Buffalo, but can you have a quality loss here? I still think that the big stretch run here, they host the Jets, they're at the Panthers, host the Chargers, at the Browns, at Atlanta. You're going to get a really good idea over those next 6 weeks just how good or bad Miami is. Then you'll have more chatter about Tyreek Hill and, of course, with Mike McDaniel. But the big game coming up tonight against the Buffalo Bills, and here they are 0-2 and staring down a heavyweight in Buffalo, battling maybe dysfunction. It seemed like they broke the code 2 years ago. They had cracked the code. They had one of the more innovative offenses. Tua Tagovailoa was playing great. Waddle, Tyreek Hill, they're scoring. They're having fun. Mike McDaniel, quirky but winning. Yeah, that's the difference. You can be quirky and winning, and we're fine with it. It's when you're quirky and you're not winning, where all of a sudden we're like, what's wrong with that guy? I like him. I think he's entertaining. I don't know if he's a head coach, but I do think he's got one of those bright offensive minds. And I think sometimes when you put those guys in front of the media, they can do their job. But part of the job of being a head coach is being a CEO. And some guys can and some guys cannot do it. Now, Belichick got away with it because he had success before social media. Then all of a sudden it's like, all right, he's gruff. That's who he is. Greg Popovich before social media. You know, they could be really tough on the media. Bob Knight, you could be tough on the media, but you're winning. Bill Parcells, Pat Riley, tough on the media, but you're winning. It's when you don't, and I'm not saying Mike McDaniel is tough on the media. You got Brian Kelly at LSU. All right, if you're winning, you can be tough on the media. Urban Meyer, Nick Saban, but you got to win. And Mike McDaniel, you can be quirky, but you better win. And that's been the problem. You start to look at where did it go wrong here? I mean, Tua has been healthier. Feels like the same team that they've had. It's just they don't feel threatening. And then you have that stretch where you host the Jets at the Panthers, host the Chargers at the Browns at Atlanta. You can beat the Jets. You can beat the Panthers. You're going to be hosting the Chargers coming cross-country. You'll be at the Browns, and you're at Atlanta. They're all winnable games. The question is, can you win 3 out of 5? Can you win 4 out of 5? But if there's a blowout tonight, a standalone game, that's when everybody's going to be circling. That's what happens. Standalone games, now everybody has a referendum on the Miami Dolphins. Now, if Buffalo struggles, that defense has holes in it. So there is room for opportunity for the Miami Dolphins. But Buffalo is a 12.5-point underdog.